Hi Pisces, this is your love reading from the end of July to the end of August. I must apologise for the delay in putting your reading up. There has been a delay with Pisces, Aquarius and Capricorn, purely because this week time has not been on my side and I just have not had the time to be able to do it. I would just like to say that previously I have only concentrated on general readings, but I thought I would give the love readings a go and see how they work out. As always, I have pre-shuffled the cards and laid them out because, as I've said in previous videos, I do feel that this saves time and I just want to get straight into your reading. The first card we have is the Ace of Cups. Now, this is the energy that's being brought in this month. And it would indicate to me that there is a sense of instability within a relationship. That you may be feeling that you need support at the moment, unconditional support, and you may feel that you're not getting that. You could be feeling quite low, quite depressed. It's almost like a feeling that you've lost faith either within yourself or within this relationship. And it could be because of this feeling of instability and maybe feeling that you are not being supported in the way that you feel you need to be at the moment. And this is creating some fears within this relationship. It can also indicate sometimes a false heart. But overall, I just feel that you're losing faith in someone or in a relationship. I must just say as well that the cups represent water. They are very much about emotions, feelings and love. So I feel that you are certainly feeling very emotional this month about a relationship or somebody. The water represents Scorpio, Pisces and Cancer. So you are very much with your own energy this month, being a Pisces. But as I said, I just feel that in some way you're not feeling supported within this relationship and it's causing you to lose faith. The next card we have is the Six of Wands. The wands represent fire energy. That can be Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. Now, the Six of Wands, it's a good card because it's a victory card. And this has fallen within your helping or hindering. And I feel very much that this card is helping you to see that somehow you have had some challenges, okay? And you've had to overcome these challenges. And by overcoming them, you've had to learn some very hard lessons along the way. And you've learnt those lessons and you've faced those challenges and you've dealt with them. And this card is saying that really you do deserve a pat on the back, because you've certainly been through the mill and you've had a lot to deal with. You've had obstacles to overcome. You've had conflict to overcome. But this card is saying that you have learnt some very hard lessons and dealt with some very hard challenges. And this is saying that now victory is yours, because you really do deserve a big pat on the back for what you've gone through and for what you've learnt from those lessons. The next card we have is the Five of Swords. The swords are air, and they can represent Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Now, the Five of Swords is like a mixed feeling type of card. It's like you, and I should say as well, obviously the card is reversed. It's like it's almost like with the victory card being there, the Six of Wands, and that you've had to overcome so much challenges and obstacles, and you've done that and you've achieved that. It's almost like somebody around you or other people around you are being quite spiteful maybe about that. Maybe somebody is, I don't want to say jealous, but it's almost like somebody's being spiteful in a gleeful way. That maybe somebody relished some humiliation you had suffered in the past, or something, and was being quite spiteful about that. It can also indicate that there has been some conflict and aggressive behaviour within a relationship, and certainly challenges. And it can show that in the past there's been these challenges and these conflicts, okay, that have been in your life. And other people have been quite, I don't want to say happy about it, but have kind of sat there and thought, oh, I'm not glad that you're suffering. It's hard to describe what I'm trying to say. But rather than having people support you in those challenges, they've kind of maybe mocked you, or as I said, taken some pleasure. That's what I'm trying to say. They've kind of got pleasure out of the misfortune that you've had to suffer. They've got pleasure out of seeing you having these challenges and conflicts in your life. But the victory card is showing that it's almost like you can say, well, look, I got one up on you, because yes, I have had all these conflicts and challenges, but I've dealt with them. And I've learnt some hard lessons along the way, and I've had some really hard knocks, but I've come out the other side of it, and I've won some of these battles. Because that's how I'm feeling. It's not a nice energy with this Five of Swords. Not at all. The next card we have is the Nine of Cups. And as I've already explained, the cups are to do with emotions. It is reversed. And it's fallen within your near past position, but something that's still having an effect on you now. And it's kind of saying that there's somebody been around you that has been quite self-centered, has really completely disregarded your feelings and emotions, and has made it all about them, has made everything about how they feel, what they want, and overlooked your needs, your wants, your emotions, your feelings. It's almost like somebody's just got such a big ego and everything's always about them. They're just extremely self-centered. It can also indicate that you may have thought a promise was made in regards to something and that promise has not been fulfilled, that somebody's gone back on that promise. But overall, I feel that there's somebody been around you. They're either in your past now, or they're still within your life, that they make everything about them. They just have complete disregard for how you feel and for how things are affecting you, because it's always about them. The next card we have is the Eight of Swords, which, as I've already explained, is an air element. The swords are all to do with our thoughts, our perception of things, all to do with the mind and thinking. When it's reversed, it's kind of saying that recent events have kind of thrown you into this feeling of despair that's almost taken over you, to the point that you haven't been able to see an end to it, that you almost do think, my God, when is this all gonna end? You know, I've just had enough. There's maybe been mental anguish, worrying, lots of arguments. Maybe somebody has made you feel guilty about something that hasn't been your fault. But what this card is showing, that possibly the person with the Nine of Cups, who has been so self-centered and has made everything about them, has caused you to feel like this. And it's left you with that feeling of despair and stress and worry, and being made to feel guilty about something that isn't your fault, because the other person is so self-centered that they can't see the part that they've played in this. So they almost push all the blame onto you. But when this card is reversed, it's asking you to see that this is the feelings that situation has left you with those feelings, okay? And because it is in your thoughts, it's all in your mind and your perception of things now. And this card is asking you to see that slowly things are starting to improve. That if you took this blindfold off, you could see that you could discover that things are improving, and that you need to stop this. You need to get rid of those negative thoughts now. You need to push those aside. You need to stop feeling guilty. You need to accept and understand that if something has gone wrong, it most definitely has not been all your fault. There's always two sides to the story and two people that have created this situation. And if you can stop feeling this despair and to start to see that things are improving within your life. But the only way you're going to see that is to take the blindfold off and to start seeing things for what they really are, rather than allowing your negative feelings and the sense of despair that you felt to make you continually feel that life is bad, 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 when in actual fact things are improving. Maybe slowly, but they are, and you have to allow yourself to see that now. The next card we have is the Ace of Wands. And to be honest with you, looking at this reading, I'm actually amazed at how many reverse cards you do have. Now, the Ace of Wands, this has fallen within your near future position, okay? And when it's reversed, it can show an element of frustration because the aces represent new beginnings, okay? New things happening, moving forward. When it's reversed, it's like you feel something should be moving forward, but it isn't. But it could be because of your mindset with the Eight of Swords that you are not allowing yourself to see that things are improving. That you are still feeling despair and worry and stress. And that if you could change your thought process, you could turn this card around and see that now you are moving into calmer waters and that new beginnings are possible. But I feel it's going to require you to change your whole thought process now. Because otherwise, you're not going to get this new beginning. You are going to continue to feel frustrated. You're going to continually feel that you should be moving on or moving in a new direction, and you're not. And I feel that the reason you're going to feel like that is because of this negativity that's still within your mind. And if you don't take the blindfold off, as I said, and start to see the wood for the trees, then this is what's going to happen. The next card we have is the Three of Pentacles. And I have to say, with majority of my readings, it's very rare that I see the Three of Pentacles. It's not a card that tends to come up very often. Now, this card can signify that at the moment, you are feeling that you and your partner need to start to plan your current situation. You need to start to both work out where you're both at. You need to start planning, do we take this relationship in this direction, or do we take it in another direction? It's about both people discussing this and working this out and planning which way this is going to go. It can also sometimes indicate that there is somebody around you, quite possibly somebody that is just a good friend. But this good friend has started to develop feelings for you, has started to want to get closer to you in more of a personal way rather than just a platonic way. And they are trying to plan and make moves in how to go about that. So it can indicate that sometimes, but this card has fallen within the position of your attitude. And I feel that at the moment, you are going to want to start to make some firm plans as to the current situation of your relationship. And to make those plans, whether it's parting, staying together, whatever it is, to make those plans, it's going to require both of you in the relationship to do that. But I feel that that is your thought process at the moment, that you feel you're at a stage where you need to start making some conscious decisions and plans in regards to your current situation. The next card we have is Temperance, which is a major arcana card. Now, Temperance, this I should say has fallen within your environment, friends and family, okay? And Temperance can be about reconciliations, most definitely compromise and growth. But what it is, it's about attention to detail, because that is essential, okay? It's about finding the balance in everything, in all areas. Because if something is not balanced, then it's going to evaporate. It's not going to work out in the way it should. And I feel with the Three of Pentacles, with you thinking that you need to now start to make some plans about your current situation. And I feel Temperance is here to say that in order to make these plans, it's going to require finding a complete balance. It is going to need some compromise. And if you are already parted, it's going to require the compromise and complete balance to be able to gain a reconciliation. But I feel that that is what's around you at the moment. It's trying to... It's almost like when somebody's trying to balance the books. And the books are never going to be correct unless there is a complete balance within the end result. And I think that's what this card is saying, that there has to be now a complete balance. Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's not going to go the way it should. The next card we have is another major arcana card. This is the Strength card. Now, this has fallen within your need to know and hopes and fears. When it's reversed, it can sometimes indicate that the two people within this relationship are very different. It's almost like you are chalk and cheese. Sorry. And maybe that is what you are fearing. You are fearing whether this relationship can actually work out, because you know that you are so very different that those differences are creating problems, or those differences are creating an imbalance within this relationship. Because sometimes they say opposites attract, and of course that can be so. But I do feel that when opposites attract, it does require constant compromise and finding balance, and maybe a little bit more hard work is needed to even out those differences between two people. When two people are almost on the same wavelength, then things can often flow a lot easier. When two people are kind of both singing off different hymn sheets, then obviously it's going to require a little bit more effort and compromise. So I do feel that maybe you are fearing that maybe you and this other person are so opposite to each other, and you are fearing whether this relationship is going to be able to work. And I should say the Strength card does represent Leo. I'm not saying you're in a relationship with a Leo, but it is possible. But also, when it's reversed, it's about you having to find your inner strength to be able to deal with a situation or to confront a problem. And sometimes we can be quite fearful of dealing with a problem, to the point that sometimes we want to sweep the problem under the carpet and not deal with it because we're fearful of it and we don't feel that we've got enough strength to deal with it. But this card is also saying that you need to find that inner strength, because facing this problem, you may find that the problem is not so bad as you first thought. It's not as bad as you was fearing. And if it is related to differences between you two, then maybe those differences can be worked out. Maybe you can find a compromise. But this card is, to me, it's saying that maybe you are fearing that these two different, that you are two very different people, and it's going to create obstacles within this relationship. And the balance that Temperance is asking for you to find, maybe you are fearing that you're not going to find that, because the differences are just too big. The next card we have is the Death card. Now, lots of people are fearful of the Death card. I actually quite like the Death card, to be honest. It is reversed, as you can see. It is a major arcana card, and it has fallen within your final outcome. When the Death card is reversed, it signifies that there is a major change going to happen. But it's a change that you were not prepared for. But a change that is entirely necessary. It can be that you have made a big investment in something, and now that is going to be taken away from you. It could be that you have made a huge investment within this relationship, but unfortunately it is going to end and it's not going to work out. But the thing with this card is in whichever way this changes, because the Death card represents moving away, change, new beginnings. But when it's reversed, it's the same principle that these major changes, major new beginnings are going to happen. But you are almost being stubborn and trying to resist that. Maybe deep down you don't want that change. You don't want that new beginning, and you are refusing to deal with that or refusing to accept it. But what this card is saying is that this major change of events has to happen. It's necessary. And it's necessary to create this new beginning, to create this change. And this new beginning and change is needed. It could be that there is going to be a major change or a new beginning within this relationship, and it's not going to end. But maybe your thought process, their thought process, the whole kind of inner workings of this relationship have got to change. And most people don't like change. Most people resist change because it is frightening and it takes you out of your comfort zone. And maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe the way this relationship has been going along, it is not right. And for this relationship to continue, this major change within it has got to take place. And yes, maybe it is going to take you or both of you out of your comfort zone. But it's needed. Or it could be that the relationship has got to come to an end. That maybe if there are such big differences between the two of you, that those differences cannot be worked out. That all that's going to happen if you continue in this relationship is to have stress and arguments, because the differences are just too big. And this Death card is asking you to finally see that this person is not right for you, for your long-term future and happiness. And you maybe are not right for their long-term future and happiness. And that the major change has to happen, because ultimately, if you stay within this relationship, neither of you are going to find the happiness and the pleasure within this relationship that people should have, because the differences are too insurmountable to be able to overcome. So I don't feel that we're really ending on a negative situation, because if you are both very different, then as much as it's going to hurt to end the relationship and to walk away, in the long run, it's going to be beneficial, because it will open up new doors for both of you to meet new people that you are more suited to, where there aren't so many differences between you both. Or, like I said, it could go the other way, where if there are huge differences between both of you, that you manage to compromise, you manage to iron out those differences, you manage to work on those differences, and then create a new beginning within this relationship. But it may be a new beginning within the relationship that does slightly take you out of your comfort zone. It could mean that you are maybe having to change some aspects of your personality to be able to fit in with the other person, and that could make you feel uneasy and uncomfortable and make you feel, well, why should I change? But sometimes change is needed for things to progress. So that concludes your reading, Pisces. I do hope that somebody out there understands this reading and is able to make sense of it. Obviously, there is lots and lots of Pisces people out there, so it's not going to resonate with all of you, and I know that. But maybe some of you will be able to understand even a small proportion of the reading. If you've liked the reading, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't liked it, then by all means give me a thumbs down. If you would like to leave a comment, that would be great. I really do appreciate all the comments that people leave, and I do make sure that I reply to every single comment. So once again, that is your reading. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that it's answered some questions for you in some way, even in a small way. I will see you again in September for your next general and love reading. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and bye.